Well, here we are again. It is Friday, June 5th, 2026, and this is the weekly videos. You know, we did a bunch of videos this week because there was so many sales finishing up. So we decided we recorded a big chunk of the Grogan sale yesterday, about half the sale, to give you some idea what it would be like to be sitting in the room. I spoke with them afterwards, and well, this morning actually, and they were extremely pleased with the results. And then we had some other videos that we put up this week to sort of get things going. The post-auction results down at Leland Little. They had a great sale. Wasn't a big sale, but they had very good results overall. And the market seems to be remarkably vibrant and seems definitely to be sort of a resurgence, at least in rare China trade. Common China trade wares are still very, very viable, but the rare pieces do extremely well. And we're going to go through several sales that turned up this week, so stick around. There's a sale in Connecticut that popped up onto our radar this morning it's got 5 or 6 very nice pieces in it. Rare pieces, are somewhat underestimated, as you'll see, but they look absolutely fine. We're going to talk about those. There's a couple of sales coming up in Paris at Bonhams. There's an online sale as well as a live sale. It's got some very nice pieces in it, including a beautiful gilt bronze vase. And then we're going to take a look at our friend Carlo Santi over in Milan. At Marcopolo, he has a sale coming up. He's got, actually, it's a double sale. He's doing very well over there. His auctions have been getting very well received, good results, and consigners are bringing him things. And he's doing I know I've known Carlo for a long time, as many of you know. We visited him when we were in Italy last fall. We spent some time with him and talked about the business. That's when he was selling that extraordinary looking Korean bronze that did so well. It brought, I don't know, $250,000. It did very well. At any rate, so there's all that going on. We're going to go through some results and then get to some previews, because there's some sales here in the U.S. that if you're in the U.S., you might want to check them out. And there's some sales over in Europe coming up that if you're over there or you don't mind shopping over there and shipping it to America, do that. We're also on the Marcopolo sale. We're going to do a whole video on it in a couple of days. It's going to be posted on Live Auctioneers Tuesday or so of next week. And when it's up, we're going to add it to the global pages and do all that. And everything we talk about today will be on the global pages by probably tomorrow or Sunday, as soon as we can get to getting them all added and uploaded and remove all of the sales from this week, because a lot of the stuff that's on there now is completed. And I have to say, overall, the sales results for the last couple of weeks, the things that we've seen selling are doing quite well. Few bargains, but overall, pretty good. And we're going to take a look at the Sikes sale, too. They had a nice sale this week. They had just a few Asian things, but they all did quite well. I think they should be very pleased. And let's get started. First, just a quick reminder, the Ripon Boswell sale, for those of you who like rare rugs and textiles, this is coming up tomorrow, just as a reminder in case it's flipped off your radar. They've got some very nice Chinese rugs, as you can see, early pieces. Ripon is a top-notch European auction house. They do a good job. They've been around forever. They've been around longer than I've been in the business, and that's a while. So they're very reputable. They're a good company. And then on to the big news from yesterday was this. The Order of Cincinnati played at Grogan's. It brought a record, as far as I can tell, and speaking to them, as far as they could tell, it brought a record price. As we talked about this dish quite a bit before the sale, because they don't come up very often, especially when in such good condition. And the top price, from what I could find prior to the sale, was about $97,000. And this one brought, as you can see, 110 plus the buyer's premium. So with the buyer's premium, it came in at about $137,000. That's a big jump over the record, the previous record that had been on the books for quite a while. So there seems to be some real interest in historic China trade. And historic pieces in general in that sale did very well. If they were tied to, it's particularly the American market, if they're tied to a Revolutionary War figure or signers of the Declaration, anything like that, or General Grant. There was a General Grant plate in there that did very well, the one with the giant fish on it. All of those pieces, there seems to be a growing resurgence in interest in historic memorabilia from the founders of the country. Well, they should be. They were great people. So this was a wonderful result. And the other parts of the sale did very well too. There was this very nice, and this sort of struck home with me. It was a Fitzhugh plate, orange Fitzhugh with the eagle in the middle of it. These are extremely rare. There were two very rare Fitzhugh pieces in the sale. One of them was a black Fitzhugh piece that actually brought more. It brought around about 18,000, including the buyer's premium. This one brought about 12,500, including the buyer's premium. The reason I'm talking about it, it belonged to Captain William Orne. And the Ornes, where I grew up in the town of Marblehead, and the town of Salem is next door, and the Ornes were there. There was a number of Ornes. I actually went to grammar school with some of the Orne children. But he was a very prominent figure in Salem, Revolutionary War figure, all that business. And this single plate brought about $12,500, including the premium. It's a wonderful example. And I was glad to see it because it's sort of a hometown thing for me. It was beautifully done. It was in remarkable condition, as all the pieces were in this sale pretty much. So bravo on that. And then hopping along, this was the Caza Sikes sale that took place this week. And you may recall that we've talked about them a number of times. We've we've done previews and post-auction results of several of their sales because they've gotten into a collection of a family that lived in Asia apparently for quite some time and collected a lot of very good things. And they had those two big sales that we did of all Ming blue and white wares and early wares, Sung pieces and so forth, and Yuan. And they have some more. And apparently they have another big sale coming in July of more of this stuff from this same collection. And I spoke with them out there, and they're very excited about it. So we'll see. But these pieces were also from the same family. And this is a very nice blue and white vase. Now they listed it as Ming. I actually think it was probably a Korean vase, judging by the decoration and the way it's done. I think it was a nice early piece, a nice 19th century piece of Ming blue and white. This pattern done in this style. And then the bottom of it, we get over to it in a minute. The foot, hold on. There, this, with the flat foot and all the kiln grit and this very decidedly bluish tone. My feeling is that this was much more likely to be Korean, probably from the Joseon period than Ming. I don't think it is. I think this was probably a Korean piece. And it brought $400 plus the premium, so around $500 or so for it. I think it was a pretty good buy. If that was, I'm assuming it was Korean. That was a good buy. But Korean blue and white isn't bringing, of course, what it used to. It's a great area to get into collecting right now, because right now the prices are artificially low and you can build a very interesting collection without spending a lot of money. All right. And this was, I said, at Caza Sikes out in Cincinnati, Ohio. They're nice people, by the way, if you haven't done business with them. Their pleasure. And then there was this rather nice Yuan Dynasty dragon dish. It was about 13 3/4 inches in diameter. It was a pretty good plate. It had a firing flaw on the right side here. You can see this gray area. And some of the glaze I don't think, fully covered all of the spikes on the dragon. But overall, it was a pretty good looking plate. And it had a firing crack over here, and that held the price down. And by holding it down, it still did well. It brought about $10,000 with the premium. But had this been perfect and evenly glazed all the way around, you could probably have tripled that number. Pretty comfortably. It was estimated, everything in their sale is estimated $200 to $300. You can ignore the estimates. And as we've been saying for weeks, the Leland Little sale, they estimate everything at 50 to 25,000. Caza Sikes typically lists a lot of their things, no matter what they're going to bring, and they know it. They have a feeling they know. They know what's going on, but they let the audience decide, and the audience is pretty smart these days. And this was a good plate. This was a nice piece of Celadon, and you don't see Yuan relief work dragon dishes very often, so that was a good result. And then the Ming Kisi panel. This was a good one. It was probably cut down from a much larger panel. It might have been maybe double that width, but the best part of it was saved, and the colors on it were very good. And then this brocade border. You see this brocade border on a lot of pieces that were sort of mounted onto them at the end of the Qing dynasty and the beginning of the Republic period. It was a very popular pattern to be used when the silk workshops would take a piece, silk fragments that have been damaged. They would cut out the part that's still attractive and then set it in a frame and then sell it in the West often. You see them all the time in houses in New England. You see silk strips with with these little brocade borders around them and put in frames. They're very attractive. This was a nice one, though. This was a 16th century panel, judging by the color, the way the tone of the yellow and the tone of this rusty sort of salmon color in the background, and the way it's done, the style of decoration. It looks perfectly fine. And it was pretty good size. It was 29 by 23 inches, so it was a good wall size. And it ended up going for $3,000 plus premium, or around $3,900, which is perfectly fine. We had talked about it before the sale, and that was sort of the range, I guess, that we speculated. They're fairly consistent. Silks are fairly consistent in price today in the market, it seems. All right, and then over to this, you had this big Qing Dynasty embroidered skirt panel, and these often are, again, silks that were remounted. This was measuring 31 by 66 inches, so it was basically 2.5 feet tall by a little over 5 feet long, 5'6" in length. So it was a good, nice big panel. And the cobalt ground on it was nice and even. You don't see any fading in it. You always want to, when you have the backgrounds, the silk backgrounds on these things, always look at the areas on there for staining or any fading or damage. And the reason is that if it's in here somewhere, it's hard to see if it's mixed into the decoration, because the decoration is so elaborate. And in here you have all the gilt thread dragons and lots of needlework going on all over the place, swirling waves. It's hard to spot flaws, but if you have a nice big open area, sometimes you can see areas of damage that would hold you back. I didn't see anything wrong with this. This looked like a perfectly good panel all the way down. And it did fine in the end. It ended up going for about 18 plus juice, plus the juice, plus the premium, about $2,400, which is right in line with the current market. So they got the right price for that. And then other things that sold. Oh, this just happened today. The sale, I think, is still going on. This is at Doyle's in Boston. And we mentioned them the other day because they had a bunch of China trade things in their sale. Doyle's is, as you know, headquartered in New York, but they've also opened up a very nice office in Boston. And they're running sales from there. So if you're in Massachusetts and you watch Doyle sales, check and see if it isn't the Boston location, because if it is, obviously you're going to save a fortune on transportation, especially if you buy pieces that are fairly large, furniture, high boys, all that sort of thing. You can go in and pick it up yourself. I've been there, and it is a nice facility, and they do have a place where you one of these lanes or alleyways right next to the building where you can quickly park, go in and get your things and get out of there. And it's not far from Storrow Drive. It's about I think it's 3 blocks in from Storrow Drive, so you can bug out of the city pretty quickly once you get your things. But at any rate, they had this sale. They had some nice China trade pieces in it. One of them was a historic piece that went for a bargain, I think. But this was a nice set of teapots. You had 2 Kangxi underglazed blue with enamels, a blue sort of a Mari pattern, and then you had these other Famille Rose examples. These are perfectly nice pots. I didn't see anything wrong with them. One has a gilded handle and spout. This is a later 18th century one. This one on the right was probably done about 1790 or so. And then you have the 2 Kangxi pots down here. I didn't see any chips on the spouts. There is a repair to the handle on that one, but the rest of it looked fine. And the whole lot went for $800 plus the buyer's premium. So that was a good buy. That was a great buy. You figure out the premium on it's about 25-30%. So $1,100 for 5 nice 18th century teapots, less than about $200, $180 a piece. That was a good opportunity for somebody. And then there was this. This was maybe the bargain of the day in there, though. This is from Amsterdam, the Scholten family, and this is a very rare plate. And in the past, I've seen them sell. I've seen them sell for $600 or $800, and I've seen them sell for in the thousands, $1,400, $1,500. It's a known pattern. There were 2 styles of these plates that were done. He was a prominent a politician and very wealthy guy in Amsterdam. Lived during the 18th century. He had a big family. He married a wealthy woman. She was a member of the royal family, and all this sort of thing. This was a good buy. $225 plus premium. So I hope one of you got this. This was a saucer. It wasn't terribly big, or a small plate, but it was, how big was it? It was 5.25 inches, but it was a gem of a little dish. Gem of a little piece of porcelain. Always check Doyle Boston. I'm just telling you, they're going to get into estates around here, and you never know what they're going to dig up. because this area of the country, as many of you know, is loaded with good stuff. So this was an example of it, and somebody got a great buy on that. That was an amazing buy. All right, and then over to this. This is the sale in Connecticut I was just talking about, and this is down at Fred Gempitro's place, New England Auction Gallery, right here. Let's see, in Brantford, Connecticut, and this sale is coming up on the 18th of June in Brantford at New England Auction Gallery. He's got several good pieces of porcelain, and he's got very modest estimates on them because I've gotten to know Fred a bit, and he's been a dealer for a very long time. He gets good sales. This is a nice Kangxi pot. And as you can see, the estimate was only $800 to $1,200, which is very, very modest for this. It looks to be in quite good condition. He provides also great photographs. So there you go. This is a nice looking pot. It measures, how tall is this thing? Has he got the dimensions in here? Yes, he does. 5.5 inches in height. Nice looking Kangxi pot. Ought to bring $1,500 to $2,000 all day long. It's got a fisherman on the rocks and all that. And it's sort of an unusual form, a beaker form. And it's very, very nicely done. It looks absolutely fine. And then hopping along over to this, many of you, the Mirren dish. This is estimated at $800 to $1,200. This is going to bring a lot more than that. This is a very, very rare type of Kangxi ware with the powder blue ground, and it has underglazed red and underglazed blue in it. Bamboo table. These do not turn up very often, and in this pattern, the more common one is the one of the gentleman that you see in the middle of these plates. There was just one a few weeks ago that sold, but this one is a much rarer one. And the last one that came up at Christie's a few years ago, I think it was 12 years ago, is this one, sold for $45,000. All right, this is the other one. It was estimated at $10,000 to $15,000 in 2015. Now, it may bring a little less than that because the market's softened a bit since then. But let's say it's worth 25 to 30,000. All right, it should do extremely well. It should do extremely well. And this is the back. It was originally sold by Lally and Company, Jim Lally down there in New York, who was the guy that, if you don't know about Jim Lally, he was the guy that really got Sotheby's their first big foothold in Hong Kong. He was the guy that set it up, and he became a legend for that. He got in there and he made a huge success of it. And then he went out on his own, opened his own gallery. He just closed the gallery a couple of years ago. He's retired now. I think he's spending more time sailing. And he's a Massachusetts guy, which is kind of fun. And he's from Newton, I believe. And this is something he sold. And of course, he sold the best of the best. And I have no doubt that he sold this. It's a great looking plate. It's beautifully done. If you want to take a shot at it, go ahead. How's it doing on the watch count? Okay, the sale's only been up about a day, and it's already got 16 bidders watching this. It's going to attract attention, but it's a very rare bird, and if you search around a little, you'll find other examples that have sold, and they always do very well. And this one looks to be in excellent condition, nice and glossy. The glaze looks good. I don't see any wear on it. Worth looking at. And then over to this. These are terrific. This is a pair of Yongchen period cups and saucers, but this particular type of cup and saucer brings a lot of money. This one with the cockerels on it and the scroll, the script seals up here in the corner. The last one I saw of these, one cup and one saucer, just one, sold for $5,000. All right, so I don't know what these will bring. And in galleries and fancy galleries in London and Paris and Portugal and the places that specialize in this stuff, they sell these cups and saucers for $10,000 to $14,000. These are very, very nice. And they are a pair, and you're going to wait a long time to see a pair of these. Pairs are, in my mind, pairs are worth 3 times the price of a single. That's how I calculate them, because they don't turn up very often typically. And these are rares. These are rare birds. The estimate is just $1,500 to $3,000 with a $500 starting bid. There are only 7 people watching it, including me. All right now, but if they catch on, they're going to do very well. But these are rare porcelains. All right, he's got other pieces in there too. All right, keep that in mind. And now this is coming up at Millea Brothers down in New Jersey on June 18th. Millea Brothers, a good auction house. I bought from them in the past. Actually, one of my favorite Chinese paintings I bought from Millea Brothers. It's a huge painting. Anyway, I was thrilled with it. Cost a fortune to ship though, because it weighed about 100 pounds because of the frame and the thickness of the glass. But at any rate, this is a very nice Qing dragon panel. beautifully done, unusually large. And often you see these, and you'll see the upper section that's been mounted with just the two dragons, or you'll see the lower section that's got several dragons going across it in the wave pattern, so that there are two. This is the whole package, and this is quite large. It is, I think it's 6 feet, 5 feet. It's 4.5 feet by 5 feet in length. So it's 5 feet from top to bottom. This is a big hanging panel, and overall, it looks to be in great condition. The colors look good. You don't see any pulls in the metallic threads anywhere. I'm sure that there has to be one or two that have pulled, but in general, they don't seem to be a problem. The condition is good. I don't see any staining. It's a hell of a piece of silk, and it's only estimated at $700 to $1,000. I expect it to bring $3,000 to $5,000, but right now the estimate is $700 to $1,000 with a $350 opening bid. It already has, and it's got 53 people watching it, so it'll probably take off a bit. But if you're a silk buyer, you want to pay attention to this because it's unusual to find one this size with all of the elements in it and in beautiful condition. Condition. The other thing that's coming up is this. This is a very nice 1780s faceted Chinlong vase. It's been lamped. Now it's 37. They say it's 37 inches high. And I don't know whether they're including the lamp fixture or what. I'm assuming they have to be. I can't imagine the vase is 3 feet tall. But do you want to double check on it? You never know. They made these fairly large. I don't think it's that large. But even if this is 24 inches tall, that's a heck of a fine vase. It's a beautiful vase. And I would keep it as a table lamp. This is a wonderful piece of porcelain as a table lamp. You can enjoy it. The light will shine down on it every time you turn it on. You're sitting in your library, your living room. But this is a very, very nice piece. And again, you check right away. You see the gilding is intact. The enamels all look very, very good. The colors are pleasing and balanced and all that. The robes are, the folds in the robes are nicely delineated and so forth all the way around. It's quite an elegant looking thing. The estimate is only $500 to $700, which is for nothing. This lamp should sell for $1,500 to $2,500, I would think, at least. An interior decorator that got his or her hands on this would put it into a house probably for around $6,000. It's a heck of a fine table lamp. But if you're looking for a great lamp, that's it. I mean, you can put it back to being a vase if you want, but I don't have a problem. Once it's been lamped, keep it lamp as long as it's nice. And then there's this. Now, this they have listed as a Ming style ancestral portrait. It's clearly Ming style. That's absolutely correct. But I'm assuming they're right that it's a Ming style 19th century. That's how they dated it. But if you can get by there and get a good look at this, I would look at this very carefully. Because this is a wonderfully done picture. The only reason it could be 19th century because the way the headdress is done, it's not quite as detailed or refined as you might expect to see in some of the other little bits. But it doesn't mean it's not. But typically, the very fine Ming ones have lots of detail about the head and so forth. But the robes look good. The color is absolutely spot on, and they don't always match the colors terribly well. But if you collect paintings, you want to go look at that. That's a nice looking picture, and it's fairly good size, and it's very expensively framed. That's the other thing. It's got about a $900 frame on it, because it's large. It's 47 inches tall and 18. Overall size, 58 inches for the frame size, 28 wide. So there's a lot of frame here. And you always remember to calculate in the cost of framing if you're planning on keeping it and hanging it in your house, because framing is extremely expensive these days. And it's got a giant piece of glass in it. That might be museum glass in it too, which would make it a lot more expensive. If you get something framed, always go with museum glass. Always. It's more money. Absolutely worth it. And don't ever get that. A number of years ago, they were peddling this non-reflective glass that they had. Museum glass, it doesn't even look like there's a piece of glass in it. It's very translucent. It doesn't reflect really at all. But they had this other stuff they were using that had sort of this fogged, sort of matte appearance to it. Maybe some of you know what I'm talking about. And I dropped some very good Japanese woodblock prints off, and it was more expensive than just putting glass in. And I just said, just put glass in it, because I was doing it as a favor for somebody. And they put this glass in because I got a lot of stuff framed by this guy, and he thought he was doing me a favor. And he had to remove it all. You throw it all out. I paid them to just get rid of it. This stuff is awful. Don't ever, if I ever bring a picture in again, don't ever, ever, ever use that glass again. It's awful. Well, now they have these sort of crystal museum glass that's very, very clear. So when you look at it, you don't get any reflection. And this is a wonderful looking picture. Anyway, enough of my rant on framing. And then hopping along, so that's all at Millea Brothers on the 18th. It'll be, if it's not there yet, I think it's already on the global pages, but it's on Live Auctioneers if you want to go over there and look. And they're good people. Where are they located? They're in, what is that? Boonton, New Jersey. Sort of, I guess, in the south central part of the state. All right, now hopping along over to who's this? Is this Bonhams? Yeah, this is Bonhams Online. Bonhams has got a sale. This is in Paris, and they have an online component that's already bidding, and it closes around the 12th. Here it is, and there's some nice pieces in here, and then they have another component. But we're going to do this first, just to give you an idea of what's here. They have some nice Japanese things in this sale, very attractive. And there's this. This is a Cloisonne, a sort of a Buddha figure, and it's you look at it, and you think, oh, that's nice. How big is it? Check the size of this thing. This thing is 2 feet tall. It's a nice big piece, 25 and a quarter inches. Came out of a French collection, looks to be in great condition, probably late Edo to early Meiji period, somewhere in there. Did they date it? They may not have. They're saying Showa period. I don't know. It doesn't look Showa to me. It looks older. That thing looks older to me. Well, they said Showa for some reason, which is early 20th century. To me, it looks mid 19th century. It does have that odd seal on the bottom. Maybe they looked up the seal, but regardless, it's a beautiful looking thing. $600 to €800 estimate. And then over to this nice looking Yuan Dynasty sort of lotus cup, Celadon bowl. It's about 2 or 3 inches diameter, 3 5/8 inches diameter. Nice looking bowl though, beautiful quality. And they do have more pictures on their website. If you want them, they have lots of photographs on their website for their things, but sometimes they're a little. Bonham seems to have some of their locations aren't big on putting a lot of pictures on Live Auctioneers, which is sort of a mistake. I think they should. But this is a nice looking bowl, good looking piece of porcelain. The estimate on it is just €1,000 to €2,000. If you're a Yuan or a lot of people that collect Sung and Southern Sung, Northern Sung, Southern Sung, they also collect early Yuan wares or Yuan ware monochromes. This is a nice thing. You might want to look into that. And then this is a really interesting thing. Very unusual Kangxi Femiware vase. A really unusual form. It just struck me. It's 6 7/8 inches tall. But look at the shape of this thing. It's beautifully colored. The enamels on it are wonderful. The potting is good. Nice white glaze on it. But it's got sort of this like umbrella top over a rounded lower body, and then this garlic head knob on top. But it all works. It's sort of a confluence of design, I guess, is the idea here. I've never seen this shape before, but there's the bottom of it. It looks absolutely right as Kangxi. It's just one of those unusual things. And as I've said many, many times, when you have something that's unusual or atypical, you sometimes can get a great buy on them, because if somebody Googles this or throws it into Google Lens, or they go looking through a bunch of websites, you may not find another one. You might not. It's going to be a tough thing to find. The estimate on it is €1,200 to €1,500, which I think is perfectly reasonable. €1,000 opening bid. They have a provenance. No comps. They don't mention it ever having sold in another auction. Heck of a thing. Very interesting. If you like oddballs and interesting things, and you can get them very reasonably, you might want to look at that. That's a good thing. And then over here to this is the live sale in Paris. But there's a lot of stuff in this sale. I just want to point out that wasn't all of it. There's a whole bunch of many things: Buddhas, bronzes, jades. There's incense holders, coral, you name it. They've got a little bit of everything. There's some Japanese things as well, Detskis and things like that. So go through it. There's a Korean ribbed vase in here. I looked at that earlier for somebody. It's got a crack on the bottom, but it's a very nice type. But it has a crack going through the bottom and going up the side. And going up the side is a problem, because they're very easy to shift and complete the crack and break the piece. So you want to, if you go after anything with a body crack in it, you always want to double check with them to see if it can be stabilized or anything can be done with it, especially if you're planning on shipping it, because the vibration of shipping, if a piece has a significant hairline or crack in it, that crack can grow significantly in transit with all the vibration, just as a little warning. But it's still a very nice, rare piece of Korean ware. And then all the other stuff, lots of belt hooks, jade belt hooks. Most of these jade belt hooks, by the way, when you see them like these, all right, they made a lot of these. They made a lot of these. And they turn up fairly often because they're so attractive and people just like them. But most of them are a Qing to Republic period. This one, they're saying, is 19th century Qing. It's 19th century Qing, but very, very late in the Qing dynasty. And I think a lot of them were made in the Republic era, judging by the volumes of them that are on the market. Any rate, 1 to 2,000 euros for all of them. Not a bad estimate. I think that's probably about right. $400 or $500 a piece is a lot. It's perfectly reasonable. And then hopping over to this is the live sale. And this is on June 9th. They have things like this very nice Yonglo plate. It's about 10 or 11 inches in diameter, wonderful lotus pattern on it. It looks to be in quite good condition. It's got a big estimate on it. It does, but they always do from the Yonglo period. It measures, 10 inches or something? 11 inches in diameter. It's estimated at 80 to 100,000 euros, or that puts it up to about 95 to 120 or so thousand US. Let's see. Well, you can't. Well, there are 4 people watching it right now. But most of their people bid right through the Bonhams website. They don't come through live auctioneers. But this is a heck of a nice piece of porcelain. And then there is we gotta hold on a second. We gotta skip over that just for a second. All right, and skip over that for a second. Skip over that for a second. All right, hold on. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. I had to move something. Okay, and you got the Yonglo dish, and then next to it is this. This is the gilt bronze I was talking about. It's an 18th century one. It's wonderfully done. The surface on it is very reminiscent of that wonderful Mei Ping vase, the gilt bronze Mei Ping vase that sold at Leland Little last year. You may recall it went for about $18,000. Here's another big one. This is quite attractive looking. I'm not sure how big this one is. How tall is this thing? 8¼ inches. It's a little smaller, but beautifully done. 2 to 3,000 euro estimate, but wonderful shape. I just like the shape of this a lot. And the gilt splashes all look to be in great condition. And the ground color is a very nice, warm, sort of cocoa color, almost cafe color. Beautifully done. Nice looking pot. Do they have a picture of the bottom of it in here? Sometimes they're marked. You have to go to their website and look it up. It's just, there might be a mark on the bottom. Often there are, as you know, but it's a good looking thing. And then over to this, they have this Qingbai melon-formed ewer in the lotus stand. And I went over to their website and looked at this because I was wondering, the proportions of the ewer to the cup stand looked a little off to me, and I went and looked at it, and here it is. And I'm looking at the, this is on their site. And if you look at the glaze on this and the glaze on this, they look different to me. Maybe not. If you're interested, you buy Qingbai and you're thinking of bidding on this because it's got a 30 to 50,000 euro estimate on it. You want to ask them, does that cup stand start life with it? Because they did mix and match them. Because one piece would get broken and they'd hang on to the pot and they'd wait for another bowl to put it in. Because they made not a lot of these, but they made a few of them. And high-end dealers could sort of hang on to one for a while until they found the appropriate stand. They're not trying to fool anybody. They often would say to the customer, it's not the original bowl, but it's the right bowl, and the piece looks good in it. But I was looking at this, and my based on the color and what I'm seeing, this looks like a different firing than the teapot. They look different, and they're even a little bit different in color. So just as a heads up, always be careful around assembled or two-piece setups. But you just want to double check it because there's the bottom of it. That's the inside of the bowl. Here's the bottom of it. All right, and that's what it should look like with these brown specks running around it from iron. At any rate, worth looking at it. And then coming back across over to the United States, you've got this. This is coming up at Auction Showplace has a sale closing on the 9th. It's closing in a few days. They've got a Tibetan collection that's quite good. They've got some wonderful Tibetan carpets and things like that. They have these two. They appear to be Ming panels. They're getting a fair bit of interest. They got 43 people watching them, but they should do pretty well. You're that dragon panel that we just saw over at Sikes that just sold. Same colors, same general era. These each measure 8 by 27 inches roughly. So they're about that big and about that long. So they're decent size. They would frame beautifully, though. I would get those framed, put them up somewhere, and they'd look wonderful. They should bring 12 to 1,800, 2 to 3,000 somewhere, or 2,500 somewhere around there. It's hard to say just from the pictures, but I would think somewhere in that price range. It's nice looking things. And then this is coming up at Material Culture. This is their sale on June. What's the date on that? June. It's hard to read on this little tiny screen. June 9th. It's also coming up. And this was that interesting sale that has all the Indian material in it. And they have a bunch of these terrific miniatures of the Taj Mahal that were made for the export market and so forth. These beautiful rosewood frames. I've always found these absolutely wonderful. And the workmanship, the paint quality on these is so fine. It looks like micro mosaics. Just beautifully done. The estimate on this is 3 to 500, which is very reasonable. There are 18 people bidding on it. It'll probably bring more. I suspect it'll bring more. But there's several of these in the sale. And there's also this, and this is something I'm dying to see how this does. We pointed it out a few weeks ago when the sale first popped up on the radar. This is a Tree of Life Palampore, and these are very, very big. And as I mentioned, there's one of this size. This is a big thing. This is not like 3 feet by 3 feet. It is 8'6" by 7'4". And these were often used as bedspreads in Europe and England in particular, and in the United States later. But during the 18th century, they were importing these into England. And there's a very good one in the Peabody Essex Museum. They have on permanent display in a big case. We had it in the video we did of it. And this is another one. And this one is on sort of a warm, warm tannish ground. But it looks like it's in good condition. The weaving on it looks outstanding. It may have some minor stains somewhere on it. I don't really see anything. I don't see anything problematic, but it's a beautiful piece of fabric. If you're a textile buff and you like Indian textiles, in particular palampores and wax resist dyed cloths and all that sort of thing, you definitely want to buy this. It is going to bring more than the estimate. It's estimated at 6 to 1,200. I'll be surprised if this goes for under 5 or 6,000. It's a beautiful piece of fabric. Textile people will go crazy for this thing. And there's other fabrics in there too. There's other textiles in there. There's a bunch of good things. That's at Material Culture on June 9th. A couple of days. You got 4 days to go over and check it out. But do check it out. It's a good sale. They're nice people down there. All right. And then over to this. Now, this is Soulless. Auctions has this coming up. I remember a month or so ago, Soulless had a sale of all those Japanese fireman jackets that were so cool with all the dragons and everything on. They did very well. Well, this is more from this was the Adair collection. And he was a dealer. He was American, but he lived in Japan for many, many years. And he had a massive inventory. And he had all kinds of great things. He had a really, really good eye. It was a very sophisticated eye. And in this sale are a bunch of those great Ikebana baskets that you all like. I've had a number of inquiries from people that like Ikebana baskets, and they've sent me some pictures of them. They've got some good ones. There's a bunch of good Ikebana in this sale, and not in this. This is the carpet sale. There's 2 sales, I should point out. This sale is coming up on. I'm going to get the date right on this. This is coming up in 21 days. What's the exact sale date? Let's get it. The 27th. All right. And this is all Caucasian rugs, pretty much. Some very nice Caucasian rugs with very modest estimates, like this Shervan here, $800 to $1,200. That's a nice late 19th century one. Looks to be in very, very good condition. He had a lot of good carpets, lots of them. I think in this sale right here, there are, how many rugs? 60 carpets. All of them Caucasian, from what I can see. Shervan, leg shies, that sort of thing. Bijoves, not Bijar. More Shervan. Like Shervans a lot, didn't he? Some Marasala, Kuba rugs, Akstafa rugs, you name it. And they all appear to be late 19th century. Here's a cloud band Kazakh. They all appear to be late 19th century. They all look to be in quite good condition. So if you want to get yourself a nice Caucasian rug, you just go through this thing and just leave bids, because all of the starting prices are very, very reasonable, extremely reasonable. So keep that in mind. All right. And then over to this. This is the next sale. This is the one with all the Japanese stuff in it, the Ikebana baskets, and this is on the 27th. And you can see more jackets, more robes, more everything, some musical instruments. You got this nice Kutani cups of the Dutchman. Very unusual if you're a Japanese buyer, Dutch traders. It's a pretty good looking set of cups. There it is. All right. Now, they're saying Kutani, but that's a Fuku mark. Usually, I only see those on Aritaware. So I would say these aren't Kutani. These are major. These are Imari, and I hadn't really looked at these before right now. So hold on a second. These are from. I don't think these are Kutani. I think these are from Arita, and I think they're older. I think they're Edo period. Nice looking. $100 to $200. Let's see here. How tall are they? 2.5 inches tall. Nice little cups, about that big. So if you're an Amari buyer, there's a chance to buy these. And these are pretty rare forms. You don't see that very often. Dutch traders on cups. And then there's this. I absolutely love this. Udagata Sahadid. This 19th century woodblock triptych of a Dutch ship. Very cool. That's a very interesting image with a side wheeler, this big black side wheeler in it. That looks like, is that an American flag on there? Does it say? Because that looks like an American flag. That would be very unusual. A lot of these side wheelers went in and out of Yokohama. 1860, that's about right, because the side wheelers started going into China around 1850 or so. All it says is Western paddle wheeling side ship, Edo period, Edo Bay at sunrise. How big is it? 19 by 36, so it's pretty good size. And there's some information. There it is, John Adair. He died in 2025. Founder and proprietor of Korofumi Antiques in Tokyo. Started at 1978. This is a very nice triptych, estimated at $1,500 to $3,750 opening bid. And then over to this. This is just one of the Ikebana baskets. This one by Shun. I just thought it was a very handsome, it's a very masculine looking basket, I think, but it's quite attractive. It's very nicely woven, beautifully, beautifully done with all the little rings and interweavings and whatnot, bamboo stripes down the side. Spectacular quality, wonderfully done. $2,000 to $3,000 estimate. It has its box. It is, there we go. And it's got its insert still, the tube insert that goes inside so you can actually put flowers in it without wrecking it. $2,000 to $3,000, a $1,000 opening bid. Quite attractive. And then as I said, he's got more of these fireman's coats. And this is one with a samurai engaging the dragon. This is quite something. This is a very striking example. And they didn't fake these. These are, I was talking to a guy who knows a lot about these this week, who's collected them over the years, I guess. And he said the one thing nice about fireman's coats is they didn't fake them because they have so much natural wear from use. Because the firemen would wear these to fires, and when they got near the fire, they would, as I said in the previous video, they would turn them inside out and soak them down with water because they were going into a very hot area. They didn't want to burn to death, so they were reversible. So they got a lot of pulled inside out and moved and banged around, and you can't fake that kind of wear. You just can't. It all looks very natural, and they don't. So you don't have to worry about these ever. This one is only estimated $2,000 to $3,000. I think it'll do better than that. I got a feeling. Samurais and dragons are pretty evocative subject matter, and this is a nice one. It looks to be in very nice condition for its age. All right, and then over to this. If you like woodwork and things, this is in the same sale at Solus on the 27th. Is this very nice. The wood color on this, I love old wood. I love the surface it gains. This is a very warm red. They call it a merchant's case with an abacus on top to boot, and this nice looking tray that went with it that sits on the top of it. This is a very handsome piece of furniture, and it's functional. You can put it in your house. It's not terribly big. This isn't a huge thing. It is 20. What is it? I remember the measurements. It's 20 inches long, 8 inches high and 9 inches deep. So you can put it anywhere, but it's a great looking piece of furniture, and you could use it around your house to store, personal papers in, whatever you want. Put it on your desk. But elegant looking thing with a very modest estimate for the whole lot, $200 to $400, $100 opening bid, and very, very attractive, wonderful color, and it's 19th century. And then poking along over to this, another piece of, I like the woodwork in the sale, so I'm going to focus on it. Two elaborately carved, as it says, hardwood transoms. And transoms are those panels that go over a door. At the top of the door, there's a space. In the old days, they would have a glass that would open to let the heat in and out, especially in the summer. But the transom is that area above the door. Those that you don't know what that is. And these are two that go there. And these are great. This one with the bamboo forest is beautifully carved. I would give it a little oil. It probably could use a good oiling at this point. It's probably been a while. And then this other panel here with a dark, more finished wood on it. Beautifully done. Wonderful panels. And you can use them, install them in your house, put them above a doorway, or just use them as a frame thing on a wall. I did see somebody once that had one very similar to the one on the bottom, this one here. This one. And what he did was he put it on a wall, and then he had a little light behind it, so it gently illuminated behind the bamboo, gave a most wonderful effect. It looked absolutely, made the thing look like it was about a foot thick with the backlighting to it. But it's very nice decoration, and you can really get to appreciate it and enjoy ownership of it. And this was a very, very nice piece. But notice the quality of the carving, just exceptional, just exceptional. And you always have to remember, if they make one mistake, they have to start over. All right. Very, very controlled thing. Beautifully done. It's signed by the maker down here in the corner. If you can ever find a way to look it up, there's a seal and the signature of the carver. He's very proud of this. This was a masterwork, this piece here. And the estimate is insultingly low, $300 to $500 for both panels, $150 opening bid. And these are fairly good size. These are not little pieces of wood. One of them is 15 inches tall and 68 inches wide. So it's almost 6 feet long, just a hair under 6 feet long. And the other one is 16 inches tall and 51 inches wide, so about a little over 4.5 feet wide. So these are pretty good sized pieces of carving. These are not little things, but boy, are they attractive. And if you're anywhere near, what city are they near? If Lone Jack, Missouri. If you're anywhere near Lone Jack and you want to get some great things, you can just go pick them up. You don't have to pay for shipping. All right, and then over to this, the Marcopolo sale. Now I'm going to dive deeper into this in the next week. As soon as the live auctioneers things becomes available, we can get it onto the site. I'm going to go through both of these sales. He has 3 sales. One of them is decorative interiors and more not Asian stuff, but antiques in general. But he has 2 Asian sale. One of them, the fancy stuff is in the morning, and then there's a decorative section with very nice things in it. There's nothing wrong with the stuff; it's all antique, but more along the lines of late 18th and 19th century pieces. But this part of the sale has got some very, very fine examples in it. And just as a quick idea, there's a very good-looking jade panel, 18th century, quite lovely, very nicely carved. This is the kind of stuff he's been finding. It's amazing. He had that amazing Korean thing. Now he's getting this stuff. But this is a wonderfully carved jade panel. Beautiful quality, 8 Qianlong period. And it measures, hold on a second. Well, there we go. Where's he put his dimensions? Where's he hide? Oh, there it is at the very, very top. 20 centimeters by 1 centimeter thick. So it's about 8 inches tall. It's about the right size. Yeah, nice looking thing, and beautiful, beautiful quality. Estimate 20 to 30,000 euros. That's not unreasonable. That's a nice piece of jade. And then there's things like this big Shunji period or transitional jar. It measures just a hair under 12 inches. It's just about 11 inches tall. But some of you will may recognize this pattern you see in the Butler books on Shunji wares and transitional wares. Very nicely done with the honeycomb red pattern on it and so forth. Beautiful piece of pottery. There's the bottom of it. Looks absolutely fine. That's what it should look like. Slightly concave, unglazed, white. The estimate on it is very modest, $800 to $1,200. All right, 8 to 1,200 euros rather. That's way under the money. This should bring 3 to 5,000 all day long. It's a nice looking piece of porcelain, and then he has things like this enormous dinner service, Guangzhou period dinner service, and he's provided a pile of photographs with this. If you live in Italy, or you can get there, and you've been looking for like a great dinner service, this is butterflies and dragons. It's a wonderful surface. It's got the service. It's got the round dragon in the middle. It's Guangzhou period. They are marked on the back. There, that's the pattern. There's the mark on the back of it. This is the pattern. There it is. And notice the quality of the butterflies. The quality of the way these butterflies are done are very, very similar to the Chanshu Pings and the bottle vases that you see that were done during the Guangzhou era, where they did these meticulously drawn butterflies, every one of them different, every one of them going in a different direction. And they've managed to do this for this entire service of all these plates and cups and saucers and bowls. Notice the gilding on the edge. It's in beautiful, beautiful condition. This is a heck of a fine service. And it says Qinghua Zhen Pin. And I think that means precious and beautiful objects, or something roughly translated from that to that. It's estimated at 15 to 25,000 euros, which I think is, if you could buy this service for 15 or 20,000 euros, you stole it. It's a giant service. And it would be dining off of this thing would be absolutely great when you had guests pull it out. And frankly, if just to give you some idea, if you go to Motorhead or any of the high-end department stores to buy modern dinner dishes, you couldn't buy this dinner service in brand new for 15,000. Not even close. They charge $1,000 for a water pitcher. This is a beautiful service. And it's antique. It'll hold its value. It's a great thing. Came out of a collection in northern Italy. All the stuff he gets comes out of private collections. He's very well connected over there. All right. And that's it. There's some of, this is some of the Nepalese stuff that's coming up in Auction Show Place. This is one of them. It's a very nice Tibetan endless rug. If you like, this is a wonderful rug. I've had this on my watch list since the sale went up. It's 3'7" by 1 foot 10 inches. This is on June 9th. At Show Place. They've got a bunch of good rugs in there, a bunch of very, very colorful decorative Asian rugs, Tibetan rugs in particular. But this one I just think is so attractive as a scatter rug, or you can hang it on a wall if you want, or use it as a table runner, in a dining room, that sort of thing. Anyway, so that's just a quick look at what's going on. I didn't mean to go on so much, but there's a lot is sold this week. A lot of stuff is coming up, and there are a couple of sales I haven't even gotten to yet that we're still working on because it ebbed and flow of the auction market. That's the way it is. So anyway, thanks for watching. Have a great weekend. Summer is finally here. We're enjoying it. It's about 80 degrees here today, finally, and we're going to be doing some gardening and stuff around the house today and tomorrow, rather. And I hope you're all having a wonderful summer so far. Enjoy it, because the snow will be back soon enough. And we'll see you all next week. Subscribe if you haven't yet. Join us on Patreon. We've had some new members over at Patreon join up. I hope you're enjoying it. And that's it. See you all next time. Bye-bye.